Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time doing the final part of Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 19, Death of a Goblin graphic novel review. Now, originally I did want to do this as soon as I got back home, but I fell asleep on the bed for about 3 or 4 hours, and it was midnight so I couldn't do it. So as we left off, Norman Osborn is now angry that Harry's appeared on the news, and let's get on with the story. So the cover you have the Ultimate Green Goblin battling the Ultimate Hobgoblin. As it left off, Peter starts to slowly get up. He's like, oh man, ow, what happened? So it turns out that no one else turned into the Green Goblin after the news broke out, knocked Peter out, and went after Harry. And Peter's like, oh yeah. And so goes after him. So at the repaired Triskelion on the Hellcarrier, Harry is out talking, saying, I can't believe I was on CN. Well, sorry to say, but you weren't. So it turns out that this was part of Carol Danvers' ploy to get Norman Osborn into the here. In other words, they just used a 15 or 16-year-old as bait. Until they try and get Harry to a safe location while getting their weaponry ready. Just then, Norman Osborn appears out of nowhere, yet I question how he managed to show up without using a jet or a chopper. So they start blasting him, and they're like, hold, get him. And so, it ends up with getting tilted, and Green Goblin shows up saying, may I have a word with my son? And so they start firing at him. So Harry turns into the Ultimate Hobgoblin. So they both get in a dispute saying, this is the thanks I get? Stop it! And so they start bashing each other. Yeah, I'm actually probably not getting a good chance to fire at them. So Peter shows up to try and hold Norman Osborn down. And Peter ends up getting burnt. So Harry starts bashing him down and knocks him down. So Carol's like, damn it, all to hell, fire! So they start firing at the Green Goblin, and Peter talks with Harry saying, Harry? Hey, Pete, are you okay? Not really. And so what happens next is Norman Osborn shows up again, and this time is beyond mad. So they start firing again with little effort, and they start blasting the troops. So Peter uses his web shootages to kind of hold down the Green Goblin and try and give them an advantage. So just then, as Peter falls off the Triskelion, Harry tries to stop his father, but due to Norman Osborn being angry and beyond madness, he says, I'm your father, Harold. And so he starts beating the merciful crap out of him, and realizes to his shock and horror that he just murdered his own son, leaving him for dead. Now, if you have read the Ultimate Comics of Miles Morales, turns out that the Oz formula gives the user immortality. So given the fact that Norman Osborn and Peter turned up alive, it's possible Harry could be alive as well, and most likely in hiding. So he turns back to normal and says, kill me. Please kill me. Gladly. And so Peter looks on as not only did his friend die, but his father as well. And Peter gets angry at Carol, saying that, you're not Nick Fury. You're not... I don't know you, so, so stay away. And this is the moment where Carol feels a bit responsible, knowing that this was not exactly what she wanted. So meanwhile, the next day back at school, Peter gives this amazing speech and asks the teacher if he could, say it. Which turns out Harry ends up dying, leaving Liz and even some of the students traumatized, knowing their best friend died a hero and fought bravely. And Peter's saying, that's all I'm thinking about now. And this is the story. So, what do I think? It's definitely not one of the best in the Ultimate line. I think the problem is that they just make Harry's death pointless, and given the fact that Norman is the Ultimate Green Goblin, he was always going to come back alive at some point. I feel the point about Harry's character is that he feels a bit underused, yet in the Amazing Spider-Man comics, they actually do give him some usage. In my opinion, it could have been better, but there was still room for an improvement. But the story still acts good, so it deserves a thumbs in the middle. Still good and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.